Create a subfolder in your scripts folder called Editor. Right-click on that folder and create a new script called, for example, PLACEOBJECT. Double-click to edit the file. I'm using Visual Studio. Now just something to take note of. If you look in the usual place for your file in the assembly-C# tree, you won't find your script. Editor scripts live in the assembly-C#-editor assembly. Delete everything inside the class. Add using Unity Editor. Next, create a static void function called, for example, placeOnTerrain. Create a class variable to hold a RAYCASTHIT and one to hold a transform. This is the transform of the object we have selected in our scene that we wish to place on the terrain. Set our transform variable equal to selection.activeTransform. Now let's do a physics raycast downwards. Our starting point will be the position of our object. The direction will be down, as mostly we start with our object above the terrain. Next we insert our hit variable with the keyword out. Finally, a maximum distance to send our ray downwards. 100 should be fine. If our ray hits a collider, check that it's a terrain collider. Set our object's position to the point on the terrain which was hit. Finally, let's add a new menu item to perform our placement. Before the method signature, let's insert the following. Menu item with a path string of GameObject/PlaceObjectOnTerrain. This will add an item to the bottom of the GameObject menu that says PlaceObjectOnTerrain. Back in Unity, let's check the GameObject menu. And yep, there it is at the bottom. Select a model in our scene, drag it up a bit, and let's hit PlaceObjectOnTerrain. Well, it kind of worked, but there's a problem because the object's origin was not at the bottom of the model. This was a decision, or perhaps lack of a decision, made by the person who made the model. Okay, so let's fix this problem. First, let's add a box collider to the model. This will show the bounds in 3D of the model. The origin of the model could potentially be set to any point within that box. We need to offset our position vertically by the distance from the origin to the bottom of the box. Here's a rough sketch I did in Paintbrush to work out what the offset should be. Pause the video if you need to take a closer look. Create a new vector 3 called newpos and set it to the point where our ray hit. Add our offset to the y-coordinate of this point. Set our transform to newpos. Add a few comments, because after all, we're not animals. Now go back into Unity and check it out. And we're done in 3 minutes.
Yay!
Note that this method does require the object to have a collider. In the next video, I'll show a more generalized method which also works for compound objects and prefabs. Remember, people who like and subscribe will win the internet.